of the Mobile Money Leadership Forum. I hope that you've been able to attend some of the other sessions. We've had a really great day. In the morning, I guaranteed that we had put together some really fantastic content. So I hope we've delivered, and I hope you feel like we continue to deliver. So before beginning this session, I just want to talk a little bit about the mobile money ecosystem. So this morning as I opened the day, I mentioned that the mobile money industry achieved an impressive milestone in 2021, processing over $1 trillion in transactions for the first time. Max also mentioned this in our second session. It's a big deal. We think it's a big deal. But this remarkable growth is increasingly attributable to third-party driven transactions. While P2P transactions continue to dominate, accounting for nearly 40% of the total value, the transaction mix is diversifying. And notably, in 2021, bulk disbursements, international remittances, merchant payments, and bill payments all achieved year-on-year growth rates outpacing that of P2P. This is a testament to the evolution of the industry and that mobile money providers are embracing diversification. This diversification is strengthening the value proposition of mobile money and is a key ingredient to increasing usage. Mobile money-enabled financial services like credit, savings, and insurance products are some of the most compelling services for mobile money users, further adding to this value proposition. According to our Global Adoption Survey last year, approximately 2 in 5 mobile money providers offer at least one of these financial products. Uptake of these products in 2021 was encouraging across mature mobile money markets, while they also gained traction in less mature markets, where customers are seeking out products to help protect their families and businesses against uncertainty and crisis, invest in their livelihoods, and improve their standard of living. With just 26% of registered mobile money customers currently active on a monthly basis, diversifying mobile money portfolios and use cases tailored to the needs of users will be key to strengthening the value proposition to all potential and current users, and driving financial inclusion among unserved and underserved communities in low and middle income countries. But it is also key for the mobile money industry's sustainability. From revenue diversification to its partners who can leverage the power of seamless payments. 75 to 80% of all mobile money provider revenue still comes from P2P transfers and cash out fees. In an increasingly competitive context with potential regulatory interventions, over-reliance on customer fees leaves mobile money providers vulnerable and may not be sustainable in the long run, putting financial inclusion for millions at risk. This transaction fee-based model has been successful in helping mobile money providers move from the startup stage to maturity. But with more and more providers in more markets reaching the maturing transaction stage, the opportunity to expand business models beyond transaction fees is ripe. The transition to a payments as a platform model has happened and is happening, with the mobile money industry increasingly turning to the ecosystem, both contributing to building it and also learning from it. It is reaping the benefits of partnering with innovative organizations, both new and established, within the for-profit, nonprofit, and governmental sectors. With a combined share of partner-driven transactions in the mobile money transaction mix doubling in the last 10 years, we are here today to celebrate this growth and diversification, acknowledging the partnerships that make this possible. I'm delighted to have participants from MWC Africa, offering a digital payments gateway, and Copia Global, an e-commerce platform targeting rural customers, which both contribute to this growing ecosystem offering, as well as IO Insurance and Tigo Peso, showcasing the power of mobile money-enabled financial services. So with that, I am delighted to welcome onto stage Angelica Pesha, CEO of Tigo Pesa Tanzania, for a fireside chat about how Tigo Pesa Tanzania is embracing diversification and accelerating growth. Welcome, Angelica. So for those of you who may not have had the pleasure of speaking with Angelica before or seeing her speak, you're in for a treat because she's a real powerhouse, and I'm super excited to have this chance to chat with her. So Angelica, Tigo Pesa Tanzania has just gone through a big change. Can you tell us a little bit about this and tell us what this has meant for your consumers and your customer base?
Thank you, Ashley. Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to share with everybody what we have gone through and the key achievements we've had in 2021 and 2022. So, Ashley, as you say, we've gone through quite, I would say, an exciting time in Tigo Pesa, Tanzania, this year, where we've had some of the greatest, I would say, changes or activities in the mobile money, which is we've been through a sale. So we've had a new group. So from Millicom now, Tigo Pesa is under Axian Group. We had a conversation about Axian this morning. So that in itself was a big achievement, and it's a big thing. And also, alongside that, we've been able to integrate another company in Tanzania called Zantel on both mobile and mobile money. So right now, Tigo Tanzania is composed of Tigo, the former Tigo that everybody knows, Tigo Pesa, and also Zantel. But on the mobile money side, we've gone further to ensure that we are combining the wallets. So right now, if you have a Zantel number, you can use Tigo Pesa for your mobile money. I think this is one of the, very new actually, as far as integration of mobile money is concerned from MNOs. So we are able to service customers for both Tigo and Zantel to give them one wallet for financial services. And this has been very exciting for the customers, both sides, because it was a win-win win-win for both companies. But on the Zantel side, giving them ability to come to Tigo Pesa was very groundbreaking, because on the Tigo Pesa side, our ecosystem is richer. We have over 150,000 active merchants. So Zantel customers or Easy Pesa customers were able to get to that. And also we have merchants, over 200,000 active merchants across the country. We have a suite of products and services on the financial services that were not available. So customers on that side are able to get to those products and services. But also on the Tigo Pesa side, customers were able to get some connections to government transactions on the island or on the Zantel side. So actually it was a real win-win for both companies, and it's been great. And we continue to look for solutions for our customers.
Great. What a value proposition for very seamless integration and suddenly a wider portfolio of use cases accessible to your consumer base. You mentioned merchant payments. So this has been a particularly difficult nut to crack for the mobile industry. But last year, we saw the value of merchant payment transactions across the industry nearly double from the year before. So you mentioned merchant payments, and I'd be curious to know what Tigo Tanzania has done to achieve growth. You said 200,000 merchants in the country, and that's great, and you've seen transactions increase, I believe.
Yes. So I would say, as one of the mature mobile money markets, we've been in business for over 12 years. We've had a number of different products and services. And along our journey, earlier on, we did do merchant payments. But at that time, 2014, it was basically a P2P transaction. But we went further to identify the businesses and service providers and registered them on our platform as merchants, but customers would just do a P2P. So with the increase in the need for us as mobile money to reinvent ourselves and to do the biggest fight, that is fighting cash or digitizing cash, we believe payment is the next big thing. So in that light, we did go back to the solution that we had and try to improve it, look at it and say, it is 2021 now, a lot has changed, what can we do? How can we improve this product? But basically, not complicating it to the level where merchants will not be able to use them, because also our concentration was for the base of the pyramid. I learned that term yesterday, base of the pyramid. So this is our concentration point. So it had to be that simple, and also it had to be simple for the merchant, but also simple for the customer. And basically giving them the access to be able to collect money. So before you can go into the complications of, let's say, building on extra products and services, we wanted to start simply by making sure everybody who has a business has a platform where they can start collection of funds. And from there, how else do we move? We're going to build other services on top of that. But with that, we've been able to achieve over 200,000 merchants who have onboarded, and we continue to onboard. Also, it's very simple and very user-friendly for the customer and also the merchants. You can do transactions both on USSD and our Tigo Pesa app. So it's something that is very simple, and given that it's 1 year, almost 2 years, we've had a tremendous success in it, and we are happy that we are able to bring the base of the pyramid into the inclusion.
Amazing. Merchant payments can be so catalytic in digitizing cash throughout markets, so that's awesome. Tigo Tanzania has clearly been doing a lot to diversify its offering to consumers and accelerate growth. I mentioned the power of mobile money to drive digital financial services. So one product I wanted to narrow in on today with you is your Kibubu savings product. Can you tell us a little bit more about this product that was launched last year?
Thank you, Ashley. Actually, that is one of my favorite products. We have had quite a number of products to our customers, but one of my favorite, on top of the merchant, of course, what we call Lipa kwa simu or pay by phone, is the Kibubu. So Kibubu is basically a saving product. So the saving product is one of the simplest products, or the way we've come to build it. It's very simple. So we talked about having a lot of data. So when we go back to our data as mobile money and mobile businesses, we look at the data and always try to find what is the use that we can create from the data that we have. And also, we are very keen at Tigo Pesa to listen to our call center, our customer touch points. What are the customers saying? What is the biggest challenge we are seeing that we can then look at and innovate? So through those activities, we realized we had a chunk of customers who were keeping the money in their wallets, and this was not moving. So the money would stay there for 2 months, 3 months, and it will just be increasing, but it's not being cashed out. Then you see it being cashed out after a certain time. So we realized customers were actually saving for us to give them interest on our trust account interest that we get from the banks, which we distribute back to customers. So we realized there was a need for this kind of product. But how do we create a product that will make everybody, the bottom of the, the base of the pyramid can come in? And our essence or our use case was really for what we call mamalishe, or the very, very small food vendors. What is something that they can do? So we deliberated and realized that we didn't want to create something that is very complex. So we went to the concept of a piggy bank. So Kibubu is basically piggy bank. What does a piggy bank do? It gives you ability to put in your money at any time, and also ability for you to get it out at any time. Though with the piggy bank, you need to break it and all that's open. But so we said, why don't we mimic this behavior that is already existing with most of the people who are the base of the pyramid, especially women, and just digitize that, as basic as that. So as we were deliberating on the product, how do we make it work, going through different business cases, etc., we realized it should be that simple. So we did create the product, and it gives everybody the ability to save as little as 1 shilling and as high as the limits can take us, regulatory limits, and you have the ability to take the money at any time out. So we saw that it got a lot of traction. To be honest, as far as I'm concerned, I did not expect we would have a lot of customers on it. But lo and behold, it was really, really something that took us by storm and surprised us, because it's as if we just catered for a need that already existed among our customers.
That's great. And I like what you said. I mean, you really looked at the data to understand what the behavior already was and apply a product and a solution that could then match that behavior. So that's great. I'm curious to know what the interest rate on this savings account is.
Okay. As an MNO, we cannot really do this on our own. So even mobile money licensed businesses, we need to partner with an approved financial service deposit-taking company. So we did struggle I would say, to get the right partner. And also we did struggle to get the central bank to understand what we wanted, because this was more of a 2-year journey of back and forth conversation with the central bank, with different banks, and telling them, we have this idea, and the bank is like, nah, this is not something we want to do. So we went from bank to bank, but finally we got somebody who understood us and had the same innovation spirit as we did, that is Bank of Africa, and we partnered with them to get this product out. So the value that is saved is essentially kept in the bank, in Bank of Africa, and we get an interest that we pass on to the customer. And the interest is as high as 7%, which is quite above the normal bank saving rate of about 4%. So hence 7%, and you have this ability for you to save anytime, get your money anytime. I think customers were like, this is what we've been waiting for. And this is how we got there.
Yeah, 7% seems mind-blowing to me. And I'd be curious to know, when you're building an awareness campaign or, adoption campaign to get users, is that a selling point, and do they understand how that will facilitate growth of their savings?
Perfect. That's a very good question. So I would say it is an added advantage, but surprisingly, I think because of the people we are targeting, the most important thing that excites them is you can put your money anytime, as little as. So you work, we know most of our customers are daily transaction people. They earn today, they spend today. So at the end of the day, or anytime you get extra money, just put it in, and the next 2-3 days you can get it out. And as long as it's in the wallet, you earn that 7%. It's yearly, but distributed monthly. So I think that flexibility of you can do this, because already, as I said, we are mimicking the behavior that already existed. They were already doing kibubu or savings with a piggy bank, where they're getting nothing, but they're really happy with it because it helps them put money away for a rainy day. So having given that opportunity for them to do that, and also there is a benefit, an extra interest that you get, I think customers really, that was the essence of the simplicity and also the extra benefits that is better than your piggy bank or your kibubu that you're already doing.
Great. And you mentioned the banking partnership, which, historically has not been a very easy partnership for MNOs at times. So what made it work? Why did you choose the partner that you chose? What do you think each one of you brings to the table?
Ashley, as I said, getting a partner was not as simple as it might seem, because we are talking to banks, and banks at least last year, 2 years ago, they were not very excited in some of these partnerships. But we saw a big change after we did introduce this Kibubu product, where every bank was saying, now, why didn't you come to us? Why didn't you come to us? Some of them are people we went to, and they had said no at that time. But when the success of this product came out, or when they understood the product, they now wanted to be part of it. So basically, I think one of the key things that we are looking for is somebody who has an innovation spirit, somebody who is looking beyond the daily normal banking practices, but they are able to go to the next level. And also innovation and ability to develop and quick to market solutions, because some banks will not do anything in a short time. There's a long time in terms of development. So the one who was able to do that quicker for us to go to market and also has the innovation spirit was very key for us. And that's what Bank of Africa was able to provide, hence our partnership with them.
That's great. Have you seen that this has sparked any crowding in of other banks, or have other banks said, you guys take this, we'll leave you to it?
So I would say after this Kibubu, we've seen banks knocking on our doors. So it has changed the narrative. Not us going to banks, but banks coming to us, because now they are seeing that there is benefit. If we work with mobile money, especially Tigo Pesa, there's something we can always gain. Things that we haven't thought of. If we sit with Tigo Pesa, we can always find some way of working together. So we are seeing a lot of banks now wanting to partner with us, which is incredible for us. It gives us an opportunity to create more products and services, and also enhance our financial service offerings to our customers.
Yeah, amazing. And just thinking about, the diversity of use cases and products and whether it's financial services or other products that can be enabled by mobile money. You know, there are probably a number of folks in this audience today who would like to partner with MNOs. So thinking more broadly, you know, what would your advice to them be if they were approaching an MNO about a partnership, and how they can go about that and be successful in it?
Okay, so Tigo Pesa, we believe in partnerships, and we know there's so much we want to do that we can't do on our own. So we are very open to partnering, but I think maybe 2 or 3 things I would highlight for people who are coming to partner with us is basically the value proposition for whatever it is that you're working on should be clear. So what is the value proposition for you as a partner and for us as your partners, you're going to work together? That is very, very key, and there has to be a business case that is eventually beneficial to us both. That is one. Number 2 would be flexibility also, because we could have somebody come to work with us. They have an idea, a very good idea, but in a way for us to scale, given the experience that we have, the understanding of our customers, and the strength that we bring, we could want to discuss tweaks to that product and service. And most of the time, it becomes a challenge because the other partner would say, this is the best way out. It is the best way out if you're seated on that side of the table. But when you come and we are looking at it together, there could be ways we could improve this together. So I think that ability to be flexible is very key, because 2 minds are better than 1. And everybody brings the strength from wherever they're coming from. And on our side, our biggest strength is we have the customers. We have built the trust over the years. So our brand, when we say you're working with Tigo Pesa, it gives you that. So that is the strength that we bring. And the understanding of our customers, we understand our customers. So how do we each accept to bring our strength so that this can be a fruitful partnership, a win-win situation for us both? And I think the other one would be definitely compliance. How do we make sure in whatever we are doing, we are complying to the regulation on our side and on your side? So we need to merge sometimes different regulations to get there.
Yeah, great. Well, you've heard it, Angelica, they're open to partnerships. So my final question before we wrap up is, what's on the horizon? What new revenue diversification options are you looking at? What's coming out of Tigo Pesa that we should be aware of?
This is a question that I keep asking my peers and mobile money leaders. What next should we do? We have done so much in the last decade, and if we don't create the right partnership, the right futuristic thinking, we might become dinosaurs. Okay, so something that became as one of the greatest innovation, if it's not living up to its potential and looking at ways to improve, might die. But that being the case, we are looking at, of course, partnering in financial services. So the success for Kibubu is just, we've barely scratched the surface. We have about 300,000 people saving within 1 year. We are saving about 4 million in terms of dollars, $4 million. But 300,000 over 10 million customers, that is still very low. So there is still ways to get to this. And maybe we are not going to work with one partner on this product. Maybe we'll work with 2 or 3 and give our customers choice to do savings the best way they want. As an example, there is insurance. There's so much things we can do. Given the distribution that we have, the customers that we have, we could work with partners to take distribution to the next level. Of course, payments. Because every other day, me and my team struggle to see how we replace your wallet with our phone, with the Tigo Pesa app, with the Tigo Pesa USSD. So until we are able to make sure when you wake up till you sleep, anything you want to do as far as payment is by Tigo Pesa, we will not sleep. So payment is still very, 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 very key. How do we get all these partners to work on the transportation, as an example? How do we work together on agriculture? So there's so much still we can do, and we are happy to keep looking for solutions, keep working with different partners to get to that aspect of bringing everybody into our ecosystem.
Great. Well, I'm not alone in saying I'm sure that I'm really excited to see where Kabubu goes. I'm excited to see what Tico Pesa has coming next. And I really want to thank you for spending this time with me. It's been really wonderful. So please give a round of applause for Angelica.
Thank you very much.
Great. So we're just moving around a bit to accommodate for our next part of this session. And I'm really delighted to welcome our panelists to the stage. So first I want to welcome Lorna McLaren, the head of product at IO Holdings. Great. And next, Nikki Germany, the Chief Growth Officer with Copia Global. Good. And finally, Sharon Walang is Director for Network Expansion at MFS Africa. Great. So as you can see, I have another really powerful lineup of women here in the fintech space, the e-commerce space. So yes, cheer, I love it. So I'm just going to let each of you kind of introduce a little bit about the organizations that you work with. So Lorna, we can start with you. If you can tell us a little bit about IO Insurance and kind of where you're presently working, that'd be great.
So IO is a subsidiary of MTN, and we're a leading microinsurance provider currently operating in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Uganda, and Zambia. We currently focused on life and hospital insurance, with our main product really being a hospital cash product that provides support to customers when they are hospitalized for both accident and illness. We've paid over 1 million in claims to date, which is something we're really proud of, because insurance is really about creating financial resilience. It's about giving our customers a safety net, and so really improving financial well-being. And what we're really focused on is creating a future where insurance is accessible to everyone, it's easy to use, it's easy to understand, and it's easy to claim. So actually all of our products, in addition to being there when something goes wrong, we have cashbacks, we're looking at building in-life services to make sure that we can really deliver on this promise of everyone actually using their insurance product. That's probably it.
Great.
Yeah, that's IO in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love that element of everyone actually using it because it's a hard sell when it never is used, right? Great. Well, Nikki, over to you to really to share a little bit about Copia and how you are disrupting the e-commerce space.
Sure. Yeah, so we're an e-commerce company for the last mile customer. So that last mile customer is generally low income, sometimes very low income, and also generally rural, sometimes very, very rural. About 80% of our deliveries are actually on non-tarmac roads. And our customer is also not digital for the most part. They don't have a smartphone. If they do, it probably doesn't take an app. They find data too expensive to use for things like that, and they're probably not very digitally literate. So in order for them to be able to order what it is that they want from our service, we provide a network of agents. So we have about 40,000 agents across Kenya and Uganda right now. And these agents are people that are trusted in local villages and settlements around the countries. So the agent might be a hairdresser. The agent might be the owner of a small restaurant. They might own a vegetable stand. Whoever has traffic within a settlement, actually 80% of those agents are women as well. And so the agent is the one who then places the order with us. As soon as that order gets to us, it's processed just like e-commerce. It comes into an automated system. We have a large fulfillment center, and we also run our own logistics organization that then delivers back to the agent. So the agents operate as ordering points, delivery points, a moment of truth and trust for the customer, as well as customer acquisition for us.
Excellent, thank you. And Sharon, can you tell us who MFS Africa is and speak to the reach of your networks?
Okay. Hi, everybody. MFS Africa, we are a B2B company, and we pride ourselves in being the largest digital platform in Africa. We are represented in over 35 countries. We have a network of partners that ranges from banks, from MNOs. We work with Tigo Pesa Tanzania and Angelica. We also work with MTOs. We work with merchant payments that we've heard a lot about from Ashley in the introduction. And our operating model is very simple. We create a platform where the businesses that are connected to us can service their customers either by sending money, receiving money, making payments, and just very recently we've added as part of our package, I don't know if most of you followed the GTP acquisition that we just did, cards payment. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. But before I hand over the mic to Ashley, I just wanted to say I'm extremely proud because I've been doing this for 12 years or 14 years, I can't remember, as long as mobile money has been around. And back then when we're doing it, what I see on stage is what the dream was, which is we were creating this mobile money platform, and we knew that we had to add all these value-added services. So when I'm here with Copia doing servicing last mile, e-commerce customers, the financial inclusion. I'm here with IO. It makes me extremely proud to see how far mobile money has come when we started this journey. At least I started this journey in 2008 till date. So just putting that out there.
Excellent. Great, thank you, Sharon. And you touched on this, but you previously worked for MTN, and you were part of the team that launched MTN's mobile money service in Cameroon, which is fantastic. So given this insider perspective, you must be acutely aware of the value proposition that MFS Africa brings to mobile money providers, and speaking to that vision, how it can accelerate. So can you tell us a little bit more about this?
It's funny, when Angelica was speaking and you said, are they open for partnerships? You said, yeah, when you come, you need to have a clear value proposition. And our value proposition is very simple. And just for context, when we started MFS, we were 4 of us, 3 of us came from the MNO background. We were former MTNs. Myself, the founder, Philip, that was with Nigeria, and our CTO that did not have the MNO background. But the question was, what more could we do? What more can we do? Is what we've been trying to crack that nut for the past 12 years. And today we've successfully created a network of networks. And what does that mean, a network of networks? A network of networks is network from the partnership side, which I've just listed, partnerships with banks, with MNOs, with merchants. And we also have from a service point of view, where we are also providing an ecosystem of services so that the partners that are onboarding on our platform are able to really close the gap on financial inclusion and whatever that means for the partner at the time. So that is what we've been able to build over the past 12 years. And in that process, we've also gained a lot of expertise from, I'll just give a couple examples, from a technical point of view, the different integrations. We've had to integrate with the different MNOs, the different banking platforms, merchant platforms, and that kind of, it solidifies the hub that we have today, because you gain all those experiences and you make it seamless for the customers. And there's something we don't talk enough about, which is the regulatory experience as well. The regulatory environment 14 years ago and today is not the same. Ashley mentioned the challenges that we're having today with merchant payments, and those are all things that in the process of trying to develop this robust hub, these are the questions that you have to answer, the interactions and all of that, that you kind of have to have with the regulators on behalf of the partners that you're onboarding and representing on your hub. So from a value proposition point of view, this is what we bring. So when we go to an MNO, we tell them, we're giving you one single API. With one single API, we're opening you up to a network of partners, network of services, and then you can do what you're already doing locally, because a lot of the services that we're doing, the MNOs are already doing locally. Angelica did a good job earlier just explaining the different services that they are doing locally. So what we bring to the table is what we say all the time. MFS, we are here to make borders matter less. So when we come, we say we're giving you one API. With the one API, you have access to all these services that you're already doing on a local level, but on a continental level, because we're already connected to the different partners in the different countries, and we're opening up your merchants and your customers to cross-border payments.
Great. Thank you, Sharon. Really inspiring for expansion and diversifying use cases and providing a really robust portfolio to consumers. So Lorna, I want to come back to you. Yesterday and today, we have touched on elements of diversification of mobile money enabled services and the importance to both the consumer and mobile money providers. IO is 100% owned by MTN, an important mobile money provider. So how does IO fit into the MTN fintech strategy?
Thanks. So InsurTech is one of the pillars within the MTN fintech strategy, and that's alongside remittance, bank tech, savings, etc. And at IO, we're also passionate about financial inclusion, serving irregular income earners, the microinsurance segment, and so that fits very well with a large portion of the MTN customer base. I think any MNO, and obviously MTN as well, really bring to the party brand and trust in the brand, which is really important for insurance, distribution footprint, and then obviously payment capability. And so, at IO, we've been tasked with, with the backing of MTN using brand, using their MTN footprint to really accelerate the availability of insurance propositions to the MTN base. And with MTN as a shareholder, I think we also, we need to make sure we're really aligned with what MTN customers really need and making sure that our value propositions really add client value. Our clients are typically choosing, if they're going to spend $1 on insurance, they're really saying, okay, well, I'm not going to spend $1 on something else. So we need to make sure that they get their dollars, worth for the product. At the same time, MTN also believe in growth through competition. And I think when you look at the MoMo ecosystem, it obviously means, the more choice that's available to customers, that, kind of the more the network can be leveraged, increases transactional value. It also increases customer utility. And so it makes sense for MTN to make sure that that ecosystem and environment is open to all. And I think earlier in one of the chats here, Cedric spoke about the open API platform, and so it's actually, payment capability and even distribution in some markets is actually available to all underwriters. And at IO, we kind of welcome competition. I think the insurance awareness and insurance penetration in most markets is so low that actually I think the more we can work together and the more we can take insurance to customers, the better.
Great. Thank you, Lorna. Nikki, I want to come back to Copia Global. So you talked about your value proposition and really the target consumers that you're reaching in these really remote rural areas. I'll take a wild stab and say most of them are probably not banked by a formal institution and use mobile money as a key payment channel. So what percentage of your orders, whether in volume or value, are transacted via mobile money?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different payment flows to think about here. So firstly, we do have digital customers, and for those customers, they pay us directly, mostly using mobile money. So for that particular customer, it's almost 100% via mobile money. For the customer who orders through the agent, and then the agent places the order with us, we take payment from the agent, because in most cases, the customer's not comfortable paying to at least at the beginning, paying to a company that they don't know. And so we take payment from the agent, and the agent is responsible for aggregating those payments from the customers. 100% of orders from the agents are paid to us using mobile money. So it's a very important foundation for our business. How the customer pays the agent is up to the customer. In most cases, it's cash. Mm-hmm. And because of fees. It's exactly what you were talking about
Yeah.
at the beginning, Ashley. The fees, it just doesn't work for our customers to be spending those fees on mobile money. So in most cases, they're using cash.
Great. And Copia Global started in Kenya, but you've recently expanded into Uganda. And with regards to your collaboration with mobile money providers, what would you say some of the differences are? And, is high mobile money penetration and the existence of established mobile money players essential to your business?
Yeah, let me take the last part first. So the existence of a digital payments infrastructure and ecosystem is critical to our business. We can't do business without it because we need those agents to be able to pay us. We need to be able to instantly notice that that payment has been made and know who it's been made by. So we need a digital payment system. That doesn't have to be a telco-driven mobile money. It happens to be in Kenya and Uganda, but if you look at a market like Nigeria, the telcos have just gotten their mobile money licenses, and that whole market is driven, very effective mobile payments market, digital payments, driven by fintechs who've driven the digital payment infrastructure there. So it needs to be an infrastructure, happens to be mobile money, telcos, but doesn't have to be. What's most important to us is the existence of a densely populated agent network, because our agents need to be able to cash in and convert from cash to digital very easily. And so that needs to be accessible. And so that agent network being close to our agent locations in those very remote areas is super important. The other part that's important is liquidity. So our agents, they need to be able to get liquidity in the e-float to be able to have enough digital money to pay us. And that can sometimes be challenging because the agents, if they are there in those areas, they don't always have the float that are necessary. And then fees. Obviously, we're paying the fees on behalf of our agents to pay us, so that's a critical part of it as well. And yeah, so that's important parts of that infrastructure. I would say the differences between Kenya and Uganda, obviously it's a less digital market in Uganda than we see in Kenya, and a much more nascent mobile money system. So what we see right now is the fees are higher in Uganda. Obviously we need to integrate with more players in Uganda because it's more of a duopoly there. So that just, I mean, that's okay. It's just a little more complex for us, but certainly consumer choice is there. And the other big thing for us that we see there is education of the agents on how to pay merchants. In Kenya, our agents, we give them a tel number and they know what to do with that. In Uganda, we have to do a lot more education with the agents on how to pay a merchant. They usually have a mobile money account, but they've only ever used it for peer-to-peer payments, and they're uncomfortable until we get quite a bit of education with the with the paying a merchant. So that's another of the differences that we see.
Right. A great example of how markets are very unique, and you have to approach them with a unique lens. So, great. Lorna, I want to come back to you. Collection of premiums in insurance, especially on an ongoing basis, is one of the key insurance challenges. Today, are the bulk of your products purchasable via Momo, and what advantages does this bring to you?
So I actually started off primarily using airtime as a store of value or collecting premiums from airtime. And what we've seen quite rapid shifts in customer behavior. So more and more customers would purchase data bundles kind of directly from Momo. So we have recently started shifting our payment or premium collection capability to Momo. And that's certainly going to be at the center of collections going forward. I think with our products, the way that we structured our products is we use what we call trigger-based billing. So when a customer engages with MTN and they are making a mobile money payment, they have the option to add insurance if they would like to, if they've signed up for insurance. And so we're really able to collect, like I say, like nano premiums. I mean, we collect premiums from about 4 US cents at a time. And I don't think we'd be able to do that without the Momo infrastructure or, mobile payments. I mean, and certainly if I reflect on South Africa, where I'm from, within a banking environment, that absolutely wouldn't be possible. So So I'd say it's absolutely critical to our payment capabilities. And I think more and more, the way that we look at payments and as people adopt mobile money wallets, we'll see, depending on customer behavior, we'll also change our collection strategy to match how people end up using their wallets.
Nikki touched on something around agents and how critical they are to their agents and being able to cash out. And I'd be curious to know how if you are leveraging the agent network with your product.
So we have our own IO agent force. So we have dedicated insurance agents. I think often when I talk to people, people immediately say, do you leverage the MTN MoMo agent system? And I think in time we will, hopefully. We have tried and we haven't had much success there. I think it's been one of our big learnings. Is, when we entered our first market, we had started using the MTN agent network, and we didn't see the kind of scale and uptake that we were anticipating, and so it led to us creating our own field force. Insurance often requires product explanation, so the time it takes to explain insurance, make sure the customer understands the product, makes it difficult for someone to potentially do as a side job. So if you have a queue of people that are looking to cash in and cash out, and now you're trying to explain insurance, it slows the process down. We also had an issue of aligning incentives, the commission that you're going to pay for insurance versus the commission on all the other services you might be rendering makes it tricky. And then lastly, just managing productivity and the quality of sales. So particularly where insurance is maybe not particularly well known. For us, it's really important that a person walks away understanding what they've bought and understanding how they're going to pay premiums and how they need to claim. And being able to monitor that quality of sales. So, we do a lot of calls afterwards and SMS check-ins, and having our own distribution force really gives us a tighter control on quality. So that's where we are at the moment. I do think that there are in future enormous opportunities for partnership across not just MTN, but other agent networks as well. I think it could work where you have a product that's very, very closely related to what that agent is doing. I think that device insurance might be one example. If someone is selling a phone, maybe selling insurance at the time makes sense. But for our products, which are broader, at the moment we focus on our own agency force.
Great, thank you, Lorna. So it's really nice to hear about two very specific products and how they're leveraging mobile money. So Sharon, I want to come back to you because you have a different perspective. You partner with a lot of MNOs, a lot of mobile money providers. So what types of transactions are dominant in the moment, and where do you see the most potential?
So if I'm looking at it from an MNO perspective, and I think the data that you showed earlier, I think the cash in, cash out P2P is still very dominant at the domestic level. But COVID was a turning point in the industry with respect to remittances. You have the pre-COVID where people will use the traditional channels, the cash, especially when you're sending money, people are more comfortable going to point of sales and actually collecting their cash and stuff like that. And with COVID bringing the restrictions that it brought, we, during that period, onboarded a lot of partners that were looking to use our rails to be able to disburse or make payments or send money. So what we've seen in the past couple of years has been an uptake in cross-border remittances, which itself has triggered, because what happens is the person that used to go and pick up cash that is now getting the money in their wallet now has the question of, what do I do with the money in my wallet? Then it's like, okay, merchants, if I'm going to purchase something, I want to do my merchant payments, I want to be able to, even local merchant payments. Then you now have an uptake, which you also showed as part of the data that it doubled from last year to this year, is because you have a lot of wallets now that are getting money through the digital channel versus the cash-based channel. So that also triggers that. And then the merchants, it now triggers them now having an ecosystem of a lot of money, what do we do? How do we manage our day-to-day operations to make sure that we are efficient? So it's kind of been a ripple effect. But again, the biggest move that we're seeing is cross-border remittances.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much potential with cross-border remittances and a lot of trade that happens on
Exactly.
borders that needs to be facilitated through digital money. Also, just thinking about these opportunities and the partnerships that you're making, what actions from all involved stakeholders would it entail to unlock new opportunities? One being cross-border remittances, but other ones as well, and keeping MNOs and MFS Africa in mind, but also regulators, governments, corporates, NGOs, et cetera.
So I think the biggest challenge with cross-border remittances that we are seeing in our business is really with regulators. I think the market has gone further than they thought it would. There are a lot of things that they did not anticipate. If you use an example, I live in Cameroon, and the biggest remittance corridor in Africa today is the Cameroon-Nigeria corridor. But if I want to send money to Nigeria, I cannot use my mobile wallet. I have to actually go to a cash point and give cash for it to be sent to Nigeria. And for 2022, it's almost ridiculous. But the regulator has not yet gotten to the part where, okay, since we are now dealing with Forex, and again, this is quite specific to Central Africa, I would say the same for West and North Africa. East Africa is a bit more advanced when it comes to that. But yeah, the biggest is the regulator just catching up with, I talked about the merchant payments earlier, is the same challenge that we're having. I was explaining, I think, to Lorna earlier that things we used to do, payments that we used to do 4 or 5 years ago, the regulator is coming a bit late to say, okay, wait a minute, hold up, we need to regulate this, now you need to get a license, but this was not there. So I think the regulators, there has to be more dialogues between the MNOs, the regulators, players like ourselves, just to have a proper understanding of what these things, what it entails, the compliance part of it, what are the challenges, what are their fears, and then we try to see as we build systems and an ecosystem to make sure that we're addressing the regulators' fears. So there's that gap that we need to kind of close. Another thing that we're seeing is from the KYC point of view, with cross-border transactions, if we're talking about financial inclusion, a lot of the rural areas, and you will know, they have challenges with KYC. Most of them are not fully KYC. So what does that mean for cross-border payments and remittances? I don't think that bit as well is something that we need to, even with the MNOs, try to see what form of identification will be sufficient for a certain level of tiered transfer or payments for this particular person, because they don't have a birth certificate or is what ID is. So it's a lot of, I think, dialogue. I think it is very clear to all the players right now what we need to do. I think there are just some gaps between, we are almost like operating in silos, so I think we need to come more together, like these initiatives, have more conversations with regulators, with MNOs, with ourselves, with value service providers like Copia and IO, just to see where are those gaps, where are the discomforts, and what can we do to close those gaps, because at the end of the day, we are all fighting for the same cause. We want financial inclusion, but what does that really mean?
Great, thank you. The power of collaboration. And, we've talked a lot about partnerships and collaboration and aligning. So I want to ask one final question, but before I do that, we are going to open it up for some Q&A with the audience. So my colleagues will be hovering around with mics if you want to kind of raise your hands while we just wrap up with one rapid fire question here to each of you. So if you have to sum it up in a sentence or two, or maybe even just a word, really, what power have partnerships brought to your business? Lorna, can I start with you?
Sure. So I think one word is a bit hard. I think partnerships can give you scale, but I think for us what's really important is, partnerships are key to delivering a holistic solution to our customers. I think we bring one element, but to provide a smooth journey, to provide the right insurance cover, other benefits, we can't do that on our own. So partnerships are key to really providing a great customer experience.
Great, thank you. Nikki?
Yeah, I'm going to say potential, because we actually haven't done a lot of partnerships. You know, fast-growing scale-up, you're just focused on so many things that you're working on, and it's really only now that we're starting to strategically look around and say, okay, what are the partnerships that can bring us the most leverage, that can help our customers the most, and where are people aligned with us? You know, device financing, different types of financial services, digital literacy. They're all things that we are really interested in for our customer and agent base as well, and obviously, you know, many other people in the ecosystem. So we're very open to exploring all of that right now.
Great, fabulous. Sharon?
I mean, we are a hub with a lot of partners, and I will not be saying we have 400 million subscribers covering 800 corridors, if not of the partners. So from a scalability point of view, MFS has been able to scale in the past 12 years, thanks to the different partnerships that we forged. That started from MNOs. Today we are seeing banks, we are seeing merchants, we are seeing, NGOs. So partnerships is a fundamental of what we believe. And like I said, if you're going to make borders matterless, you can't do it by yourself. You need to make sure that the powerful players in each corner of the continent you have onboarded is on your hub, is transacting on your hub. So it's a key to where we are going.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. So I hope that we have some questions prepared, or we have some hands up. See one up here. There's one there.
Afternoon, Aston here from ZP. My question goes to Sharon. Yeah, so looking at the fact that post-COVID, I understand that post-COVID, we're obviously going to experience an increase in migration stock in the world, currently at 280 million. But we understand there's going to be an increase in that. We're going to have a lot of migration experienced, especially in Africa, intra-Africa, due to economic reasons. But with that comes an issue of an increase, or a benefit of an increase in remittances, intra-Africa and overseas remittances. So what role are you playing as MFS, how to ensure that there is a reduction in the cost of remittances, be it intra-Africa or overseas? Because one thing you would understand that the remittances, like moving a transaction from, let's say, Zimbabwe to DRC is super expensive than moving a transaction from, let's say, the UK into Zimbabwe. So what role are you playing to make sure that you're mitigating that?
Thank you.
So ZP is one of our partners in Ghana. So I'm here with my team, and the guy that handles pricing is actually sitting in the room with me, and he will tell you we spend most of the time, I don't want to say educating, but explaining to our partners the importance of low pricing. We are a B2B business, so the business that is actually the B2C part of our business, for the most part, are the ones that set the pricing. And we know it's a volumes, the more partners we have, it's a transaction business, it's a volumes business. So that's the focus. As long as we can get those volumes up, we can be able to cover that. But the partners that are dealing with the customers, we are always saying, we want to keep those pricing low. Is the best we can do, just education, interaction, see where we can leverage between the Forex when we're doing cross borders, and also where we can help the MNOs in bringing down the pricing. So because we don't really deal with the end user, all we can do is really just dialogue, give the advantages, talk about our experiences in markets where they've gotten the pricing right and the impact that it's had, and then see where we set those pricing even with our partners, see where we can leverage to make it low cost for the end user.
Thank you, Sharon. Another question?
Hey, my name is Irene Wagaki. From the Last Mile Collective at IDEO.org. And what we do is look at interesting aspects of last mile solutions that support financial inclusion, but also women. So my interest would be what gendered insights you could provide in your businesses. What do you think are the needs or strengths of leveraging women at the last mile to either do merchant payments or the agents you work with, really to also support financial inclusion? Thanks.
Thank you. Lorna, maybe we'll turn to you about, or Nikki.
Sure, I can take that. So I had a little trouble hearing, but I think the question was around what can we do to increase digital inclusion at the last mile?
For women specifically.
For women specifically, yeah. And I mentioned that about 80% of our agents are customers, about 80% of our agents are women, about 70% of our customers are women as well. So it is a very women-focused business. Honestly, there's so many pieces to that ecosystem to make that work. So one is, and I mentioned it before, is the fees. Like, it's just fundamental, and it's one of the main reasons that people at the base of the pyramid, do not use digital money, is because of the fees. So as we move to different business models that you referred to, and hopefully there's different revenue generation models, and we can move away from a consumer-based fee structure, I think that's actually going to be the biggest thing that will help with financial inclusion at the last mile. And then when you want to, and it's obviously very easy for people to use the USSD types of products. So the more that we focus on platforms that are easy for people to use and that they're already accustomed to, without sort of forcing them to move on to different types of platforms, I think is also important.
That's great, and really important, because I think we hear a lot about low-cost smartphones, and yes, they're becoming more accessible and affordable, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all consumers are really, ready for that leap.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of work with actually trying to digitize our agents and customers who aren't digital, who haven't worked with smartphones before. And obviously there's a lot of challenges that come with that. So even when there is access to a device, it's still quite difficult to go through that education process.
Great, thank you, Nikki. So maybe 2 final questions.
Yeah, hi, Lorna, this is for you. It's phenomenal what you have done. I always say there are a lot of financial products which can drive on a mobile money network. And credit is something you don't need to sell. People come in the line to take credit, but insurances you need to sell. No doubt, the penetration of insurance is, I think, less than 3%, if I'm not wrong. My question is, you have developed such a great platform. Would you limit it only to the MTN ecosystem? Or how will you leverage it to the next stage where you will be able to expand it beyond and I know mobile is your choice of, channel to go to the bigger coverage. So what are your thoughts about that?
So I think when it comes to looking at, I guess, the business case of different opportunities, there's still a lot of opportunity directly linked to countries where MTN has a presence. So we are, as we were chatting earlier, we're in 4 countries currently, but we're hoping to roll out in Cameroon and in Nigeria in the near future. And then there's still multiple countries such as Rwanda where MTN has a presence and we don't. So I think there's a lot of runway with that. We are actively looking at markets like Zambia, where we've expanded our platform so that actually you don't have to be an MTN customer. We can now accept payments from Airtel and Zamtel. And so we're going to look at that roadmap as well, where we have operations, how do we expand beyond the MTN base? And then I think probably the third would be, territories where maybe MTN doesn't have a presence. But I think for each one, there's obviously the size of the opportunity, the business case, and where we can leverage, brand for trust and other elements. Obviously, it makes sense to do that first. Where we have operations, obviously, it makes sense to expand in those markets first. So that's how we look at it. But absolutely, I think there's so many opportunities ahead of us, and I'm certainly very excited.
Thank you, Lorna. So do we have a final question from the audience?
Thank you very much. My name is Luke of Assistol, which is a sign language interpreter's mobile application.
Sorry, Luke, can you just speak up a little bit? We're finding it hard to hear.
Sorry, my name is Luke, and this question goes to MFS and probably because you've said of your previous experience in the MNO space spanning down to 14 years, and when we are talking about digital inclusion for all, what are the learnings that you've picked along the way, even as you're innovating in your own space now, to include persons with disabilities? And if I'm looking at persons with disabilities, it goes again a disability by disability, because it's not straight-jacketed. If you're looking at visually impaired, it's not the same solutions you're giving to the hearing impaired, and it's not the same you're giving to persons with physical disability. So what are these learnings, first of all, and what are you putting in practice actively to ensure that the digital inclusion is not just inclusion per gender of women, probably with men in the rural areas, but we're also looking at deeper, doing a dive and saying that, what about disability? I will be happy if you would just take on that.
Yeah, Sharon, Lorna can speak to this actually if you're not prepared.
So this might not address the MFS part of the question that you're looking at, but I think that certainly from our side, I mean, we look at the products that we create. We make sure that actually you don't need to be underwritten. So we try to make sure that actually you're taking out this product because you are likely to need it and you want to be able to use it. So we certainly, if you, let's say you have a disability, or you have diabetes, and you're likely to need hospital services or medication, we actually don't underwrite, because we want to make sure that we are including those customers. I think that, if you talk about insurance, obviously, the first thing people might say is, how do you control for anti-selection? So how do you make sure that customers don't abuse you when you make that offering available? And I think we've been really fortunate, because it's microinsurance, I think the sums assured are fairly low. We've seen great uptake from customers, so we have a really big pool of customers. In Ghana, I think our active base is currently about 2.5 million customers that have our insurance products. And so for that reason, that's why we are able to offer our products to a wide range of customers, including those who have illnesses or disabilities, and we hope that they actually will go on to claim and use the product.
Thanks, Lorna. Luke, I think you've given all of us a little food for thought on how we include and make digital finance inclusive for everyone. So I want to thank you all for coming today. I hope that you were able to join some of the other Leadership Forum sessions and you've enjoyed. To sum up, the sum up that these ladies gave about partnerships, I think it's really powerful to see that, we're really passionate about providing digital finance for all, and partnerships is a core element of that. And I think you ladies said it when you said that, partnerships can unlock a really holistic and robust offering. It can scale to reach everyone, and partnerships allow players to come in with their core business and then apply that to a more robust offering. And I think the potential is there, right? So thank you so much. Once again, I want to thank Angelica for the fireside chat. Sharon, Nikki, and Lorna, this was wonderful. Thank you for your time. And finally, I want to thank our donors, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, for making all of this possible. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your evening.